future holds for me. But this I know, if Christ he leads me, I shall be free someday. I do not know what my life's gonna be, or what the future holds for me. But this I know, if Yahweh leads me, I shall be free someday. Peace from heaven. I gotta go, this place is not my home. Peace from heaven. Peace from heaven. Peace from heaven. Peace from heaven. 'Cause burdens now they crush me down. Life's disappointments, they're all around. And trouble speaks through mournful sight. Sorrow through a tear-stained eye. I do not know what my life's gonna be, or what the future holds for me. But this I know, if Yahweh leads me, I shall be free someday. I do not know what my life will be, or what the future holds for me. But this I know, if my Father leads me, I shall be free someday. Peace from heaven. I gotta go, this place is not my own. Peace from heaven. Beams from heaven. Peace from heaven. No more to roam. Peace from heaven. Some call it the celestial city. Some call it Zion.
Yes, greetings people, and welcome once again to your intercommunal sound service, Tunes and a Talk. And before I get into the show, I just want to say much respect and thanks to all the people who reached out from last week's show, as I was feeling in a bit of a pensive kind of mode and just going through some thought process, and you know, my mind just reflect on my friend I lost to suicide recently. And as such, I've even had people reach out and say, yeah, they too have lost friend this summer in the same instance, and they've heard of other people also who the same thing, a family member. So we're just in a time of crisis where it's not just only the fittest of the fittest survive, but like I said, the wise of the wisest. And you have to keep the mental aspect intact, people, because what's happening also is a psychological warfare, a war on the mind. It's a different kind of battle, and it's on a different battlefield, and it's raining upon us innocent people. So keep that in mind. So as you know, I've got a great show lined up, and I've got some tracks from Wishmaster. I've got track coming up from Kadialy Kouyate, and from his new album which was released earlier this year called Nemo. And just some great vibes, the usual Nickie's Toolkit. And I have an interesting dialogue with Sister Amirah Cole, who is running for councillor in Bristol, and I had to catch up with her and see what sparked that movement, and just have a usual discussion, a chat as always. So enjoy the music, and you just heard from Shezzie and Beams from Heaven. And big up my sister, and keep on bringing your beautiful sound frequencies every time. So kick back, relax, enjoy some sound frequencies, tunes and a talk.
she got to say. You know it changed my day. Well, I'll give it one hand, another she'll take it away. I need to rearrange, oh Lord, before she run away with my love and say. Before she runs away with my love and say. There's things I could do much better. One time and I would reset her, yeah. Cause what she got to say, you know it changed my fate. Look up to the sky, whoa, whoa, whoa. And now I realize that I need to meditate, oh Lord, before she run away with my love. Before she runs away with my love and say. Before she runs away. And if she stays, she talk about it. Ain't no need for you to shout it out. Don't you run away with my loving. And if she stay a little longer on, we will be much stronger, yeah. Don't you run away with my loving. And if she stay, she talk about it. Ain't no need for you to shout it out. No, 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 no. If she stay a little longer on, we will be much stronger, yeah. So much stronger, yeah. Say now. Don't you run away with my love and say. Don't you run away with my love and say. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Don't you run away with my love and say. Don't you run away now, no, no.
And that's the sound of Rujiero from the album Run to the Sun, and that track titled No Runaway, yeah man. And I want to say big up to my brethren and family, yeah man, much respect, you know, Vito and Christine, yes, Mama, big up yourself, the entire family, your brother, your sis, yeah man, and most likely want to catch up maybe for the Christmas, for the New Year, and just, you know, enjoy as people and eat some food and all of that. So Rujiero, big up and look forward to the new album. Yeah man. And Matt, everybody in the studio, much respect still. So keep tuned for that, people, and I'll keep it posted. And like I said, check the description. You know, you can find Rujiero on the usual media platform. So as I said earlier on, when I heard that Sister Amirah Cole was running for councillor in Bristol, I was like, okay, I gotta catch up with Sister Amirah, no doubt. And as such, I did. And this little catch up, this little discussion went something like this. So enjoy in conversation with Sister Amirah Cole running for councillor. Yes, greetings and welcome to another Tunes and a Talk. And like I mentioned in the beginning, I have a special guest today, a great friend of mine, another one I regard, another person I regard as a sister from another mother, sister by nature. And actually, the first time when I came to Bristol, UK, the person who gave me my first job, and make no mistake, I was run through every procedure to make sure I was qualified for the work also, because this work involved people of the community, youngsters of the community, and the work was just about community. And as such, this individual, this sister, is all about community. So when I heard she was running for councillor, I said, you know what, I had to get a little interview, no doubt. So here I am today, and none other than Sister Amirah Cole introduced to the Tunes and a Talk platform. So come in, Amirah, and let me know what's going on. Yeah.
What an intro.
Yes, I could have go on, but we don't want to drag it out still,
Yeah.
Because, the thing about it, truth is truth, and behind you, in front of you, I respect where you stand from day one. Never had to look over my shoulder, say if me I go off a line, you will set me straight, and, you just know where you stand, and I always admire and respect that still.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice to know.
And not only that, but I've seen you stood up for, the community of Bristol in many ways. Sometimes, when I say Amirah, respect to you, because it seems like you want to fight a battle at times, and I've heard you stood up for a lot of people in defense, for make them get jobs over the years of dealing with St. Paul Carnival. I've seen so much.
Yeah.
So when I heard you was running for councillor, I said, you know what, I got to know what's going on all up in the business. So give us the insight why, you chose to go that direction.
Okay. Well, I guess first I have to say is that looking back, I think is something that I was probably destined to do, but was actually fighting for a long time. So many people had said to me, like, you'd be a really good councillor, and I was like, no. I had no thought of actually even joining a political party, more or less running for a councillor, Eventually, I did join the Labour Party. That's when Jeremy Corbyn was, had got leadership of the party. And that came years after a friend of mine kept saying, no, you've got to join, and Jeremy Corbyn and, and all this kind of stuff. So, and I did. And even when I joined the Labour Party, I joined it because I always felt very much, obviously, local politics and national politics are very much different. And I wanted to make a difference on the local level. And I had been involved in, well, as you know, so many different community organisations like St. Paul's Carnival, Kumba, Malcolm X Community Centre. I literally have either chaired or run those organisations in one way, shape or form. And I wanted to see what I could do a bit more. And when I looked at it, I thought, well, actually, if I was a councillor for the Ashley area, which would cover all those organisations, then maybe I would be in a stronger position to help them, because things are getting harder, funding is being withdrawn. And mindsets are changing, communities are changing as well. And I'm seeing more and more that our young people are getting left out. As new people move into the area, our young people are being pushed out of the area, can't afford to live there, even in rented accommodation, more or less to buy the new accommodations that they're building at the moment. And therefore, our community is actually becoming indigenous to St. Paul's. And that's the only way I could really put it, And not that that's necessarily such a terrible thing in that way, but actually it's just becoming obsolete. Do you know what I mean? It's not like they're somewhere else. It's actually they're expected not to form and not to operate as part of a community. And that's where our strength was. In the 80s when we had the riots, that was our strength. Our strength was our togetherness, and even if we didn't all live in the same area, we knew what it meant for, my brother or my sister in Easton to be touched or be offended would offend me here in St. Paul's. And people knew that. Right now, we don't have that sense of community. It's been eroded away, year after year after year. And that's not all just down to funding, because I'm a very strong believer in that, we have to do for ourselves. So, you might get a little funding and that might help you for a time, but you need to plan what you're doing without that, because that funding means somebody thinks that they can tell you what to do. And we do need our independence as a people. So being a councillor for me kind of puts me in a different position. And, you know, I don't know how it's going to work because obviously it depends who you have around you as well.
Yeah, that's part of it, your team.
Yeah. But I'm going to give it a good shot, you know, to kind of equal up the imbalance that is happening in the city here in Bristol.
But before, there's something I want to ask, but before that I want to go back with the community a little bit, because even I myself, I'm no stranger to Bristol, but I also feel a kind of disenfranchising amongst the people, and we could say a lot of elements, you know, come in factor to create that, you know, a bit of separation. Because, you know, even when I just went and started a little work with Kumba, I felt more sense of community in that sense. I remember the Malcolm X talent show and all those stuff that went on, and it brought the community together, not just St. Paul's area and all that, but people from further afield, and it felt that community spirit. And I think about around 2004, I as an individual, just speaking for myself, felt that kind of division, and you know, people just start pulling apart, and it sort of disarmed me, to be honest. So just from your perspective, any concept that might, you know, you feel that might create that kind of separation, in a sense, the loss of community?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's definitely happened, and that's happened a number of ways. That's happened in ways in terms of funding, where organisations that have been funded maybe, you know, long term, have which focus on community building, you know, no longer got the funding, and therefore no longer able to offer that service. So when you look at like the funding for Malcolm X was you know, reduced. When I was at Malcolm X, they actually stopped funding Malcolm X. The council stopped funding Malcolm X in, I think it was around 2015, and Malcolm X was then self-generating, which obviously it was able to do, but then there was a lot of the services that they were no longer offering unless they were voluntary. You know, and a lot of people who have been around a long time, they will give their services voluntary, but they're not going to do it forever. You know, so when I was at Malcolm X, well, even before I even went to Malcolm X in 2006, I was doing the young people's Thursday night, little, you know, and I did that from 2006 to 2014, all voluntary. You see, so. Within that time, I then joined the board in 2010, was the first time I joined the board at Malcolm X, and I always remember the time when I joined the board, because I'd gone to a AGM, and they were asking for people, and actually, I didn't really have the time, and I actually got up to leave the meeting, and I remember getting as far as, you know, to cross the road to leave the meeting, and something inside me just said, you can't do that. If you can help, you have to help. So I actually turned round and went back and put my name down, and obviously I still left the meeting because I needed to go, but that was how I got involved. And then when I did come on the board, I found that actually, you know, the council were not very supportive of Malcolm X, and as far as they were concerned, you know, they wanted a new board, they wanted Malcolm X to have a new constitution, you know, they wanted them to, and it was always the same. Malcolm X, Kumba, Carnival was always the same. It was always the same strategy used across. Do you know, I mean, the first thing was that, you know, we need a new constitution. Well, that meant that your constitution now had to be what opened out to allow everybody, a service for any and everybody. Not to say that your service specifically didn't do that, but then your aim of your organisation was focused. It was focused around the African Caribbean community, and that was something that they didn't want anymore. Okay, and if you weren't going to abide by that, you weren't going to get the funding. So a lot of the organisations never got the funding. Kumba didn't get the funding.
I know.
Malcolm X, Carnival, and it's the same strategy each time, you know. So I think what we failed to do as a community really is to use the start that we had. We had a really good start. We had people like Paul Stevenson, Barbara Detry, you know, Carmen Bedford. These are foundation people, you know, Olive Osborne, all those people. They set a foundation. They set a strong foundation. And, you know, when you look back, you can always think, well, if only. But if we had used that more to our advantage then, when those people were around, we would have been a lot further than we are now. You know, not to underestimate a lot of the work that has gone on as well. But I feel for us, we've kind of took our eye off of the ball, and the results of that has meant that our children are now not reaping, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, I put all those years in volunteering in a community for my children, not just personally my children, but, you know, as people, children in the community to benefit from that. Now I am seeing people come from outside of our community benefiting off of the work.
Yeah.
Not that I grudge that, because obviously, you know, but there has to be a legacy.
Yeah.
And if everybody works for that legacy, isn't it? And you want your own to have piece of that legacy as well. So the fact that they can't even get piece of that legacy because of, you know, gentrification, or because we haven't planned deep and hard enough to be self-sufficient. Do you understand? And kind of lead our way. So our young people should be running our organisations and you know, looking at the next generation, and we should be there sitting back as part of that, just more of that listening, guiding ear, because the work is because of the work we've done. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So we've not really raised our young people to take on the baton.
Yeah, yeah. And I agree when you said the young people come through, but there's another aspect which is, for me, is quite crucial, and it's also, you know, the people who started, or in other words, even the elders, the senior citizens, because just from dealing with the carnival perspective, I felt, and I've heard my voice, you know, in certain meetings or just regular speech over the years, and I felt like, you know, our elders were always left out, and I saw them as an integral part. And sometimes if you know, remove the elders from certain things, then you find out there's, you know, a dysfunctionality going on within even the community or a structure of something. So I think, yes, you know, it's all well paving ways, you know, for the future generation coming through. But at the same time, whatever our elder is around, they should be a part of whatever goes on in the community. So we need to create back that sort of family structure. Yeah. You know, and I think that's what's lacking at the moment. And again, this is where you come in, because, you know, I had a little chat earlier on, and, you know. So yes, we will continue our conversation, but we're just gonna take a track at this moment from Kadialy Kouyate, and this is from the album that was released earlier this year around April, May, and this one is titled Nemo, which means blessing, and there's a lot more to come from Kadialy Kouyate, so enjoy this track called Signoya.
Imalonde, melona, molona dubese, alinyonde ma, webubaye. Imalonde, melona, molona dubese, alipatia, webubaye. Signoya. Mon ami, dodule manipa. Signoya ni badinia. Oh Maria, na 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 na. Mon ami, signoya ni badia ni hormaya. Mon ami, dodule manipa. Imalonde melo Moluna do bese alinyondi ma wekubaye Imalonde melo Moluna do bese alinyondi ma wekubaye Imalonde melo Moluna do bese alipatia wekubaye Imalonde melo Moluna do bese alipatia wekubaye
Yes, and that's the sound of Kadialy Kouyate and Sing Noya from the album Nemo. And like I say, you can check the description and check out Kadialy's website and see what's going on. So, as you know, I'm in conversation with Sister Amirah Cole and running for councillor. And as such, I will continue the conversation. Enjoy. I'm just going to throw it out to you. Your point of running for a councillor, is it to go in and challenge a system, or what's the concept behind all of what you're running for? Community, or you know?
Well, I would have to say primarily it has to be community, because that is me and that is the foundation.
Yeah.
And like you say, it is very important that the elders are part of that structure.
Yeah.
And the more and more we move on, when we look at how this funding works. And just to give you an example of way back when I was doing the young people's evening at Malcolm X, we could have had funding. We never took funding, and the reason we didn't take funding was because the way that night worked was that we had some of the young men who played, the elderly men who played chess, dominoes, whatever, and that was part of the evening, and the young people were in and they could do computers and table tennis and that setup. To receive the funding, we weren't allowed to have that intergenerational mix. It had to be from 14 to 16. So we refused that funding because that's not what we were building. Yes, yeah. So a lot of people, So a lot of people were, we also had the football team. So the football team was, we were in a little local league. We used to take them every Monday. We used to take them to football matches. It was a little five-a-side tournament, And eventually, when the council got to hear about that, they offered us a worker. And the worker drove a van because we were going up in individual cars. So the worker would come and pick up the young people. The reason why the worker would do that was the worker needed the details of those young people so that the council could put it down as part of the work they are doing. And because I refused to give that stopped. You understand? So you have to understand that you can do things, and if you don't come from a community perspective, then you can be used in other people's things. There is a system to be challenged, definitely. I'm going back to the question. There's definitely a system to be challenged. Okay. I think we have to be careful how we challenge it. Okay. We have to make sure that as we challenge that, we're moving forward. It's not just about that battle and the wanting to be right. How productive are we going to be? What's the end game? And my end game is definitely for the equality in this city. Do you know what I mean? I want to look around me, and there has been progression. There are more black people in prominent positions, but that doesn't cut it all the time. Just because you have a black, I have to take this quote from my sister, dear sister Jendai, black face in white places, don't cut it. Because it has to be about your thinking. If your thought is not about community, it's not about nationhood, it's not about, I'm first and foremost, I'm African, do you know what I mean? I'm African, I'm Caribbean, but that's my nation. Doesn't mean I have anything else against any other nation. I can't work for every nation. What I can say is that I'm fair in how I treat all nations. But when it comes to progression, 100%, I want to see my nation progress. Just like other people will do for their nations. And I think it's right that they should as well. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, but we all have to live together, and we all have to get an equal share of the pie. And what I'm saying is, and what I'm seeing is, you know, we are being eroded away. We are, nobody's really talking about us anymore. It's like we've assimilated into the diversity word and you know, you're all right, you know, and it's not, because we're suffering. We're still in a position where we've got, you know, where our young people are being excluded from schools, particularly our boys, at higher rates than, you know, other boys of other nations. The prison system again, you know, the mental health system again. That, you know, so there's still lots of places where this injustice is still happening. And this has been happening for years. You know, and no matter how many good people we have had doing good things, the system seems to always can turn it on its head. Do you know what I mean? You start making ways and improvements into it, and then everything changes, like just like that. Oh yeah, we don't need that. It's like it's just set up to do that, you know. And we have to get over that, and we have to have. If we have self-reliance, then we are halfway there. And I think that's for me. That's the thing I want us to see, that our institutions are strong. Okay, once our institutions are strong, we can start looking at how we're going to serve our people.
So basically, in a nutshell, also it's about working together, you know, because you're standing for the community, in which I agree, and then, you know, you have places like the council, which is involved in certain aspects of the community. You know, so at least, you know, we also need certain aspects of the council, so there's, you know, a pattern of working together and achieving certain end goals. Basically also respect, you know, respect is a key word, because, you know, from the council side, they also have to respect certain views from the community and know where we're coming from, where we're going, and support that also. It's not just about supporting, because to be honest, that's what I see. It's always
a one way
thing. So it needs to go both ways. You know?
And you've got to just think how difficult and how hard that challenge is going to be, because I could imagine that, you know, obviously I'm not going to be the first black person as a councillor, but I can imagine wanting to be, you know, that two-way thing, and then being in a situation where actually you've just joined the norm, because actually it's just like that, and you've got not got enough support to actually, you know, say, well, no. So, you know, I've gone in making up my mind that actually it does need to be a two-way thing, and I will do my uttermost to make sure it's a two-way thing. And, you know, I think to myself, well, I've challenged enough outside of the council system, so I can do that. And if I need to do that, I can step outside of the council system to do that. I'm now going to try being in the council system to do, you know, to do the right thing and get the best thing. This is most beneficial to my community.
And you know, if I recall, I think, you know, you were kind of contemplating to probably even start for yourself before you join the party. If you want to elaborate, or, you know, if I'm correct, you know, it's saying so.
So you know, like I said, I toyed for a good while with really even the politics, being in politics, you know, being for any political party, and, you know, it just so happened, I thought about going independent. You know, I looked at the pros and the cons of going independent, and then, you know, I spoke to a lot of people, and then I joined the Labour Party. And, you know, I'm not going to be one of these people who are saying, yeah, man, the Labour Party, because actually none of these parties actually are doing anything spectacular for us as African people, you know. And if I was to say that the thing that is what I've seen happen is that the Green Party have now, you know, at their conference, they have now decided to support the reparations, which is a great forward step. And they're the only political party that is required to do that, you know. I'm a great supporter of the reparations, and, you know, I think if we could even have two stages of those pillars of reparation: one, to stop the self-harm, and two, you know, promises that there will be no repetition. Those two alone could give us the breathing space to heal as a community or as a nation and plan how we move forward. You know, it's a long way. It's a long way coming because I mean, there's been Lambeth have as a council have passed the reparations movement. Motion, sorry, and you know, and I think there's probably about maybe 2 or 3 other councils in London as well. Here in Bristol, obviously, we weren't ready for it because our reparations motion never even got heard. So
which I find, you know, rather strange because Bristol should be the first place, even compared to London, to be the first, you know, to even be the trendsetters, the pace setters for a lot of things, but. There you go.
Yeah, so it's, you know, it's interesting to see how it unfolds from city to city. It's something, it has to come. It has to come because we can't keep on thinking. So what happens now is we get this whole thing around reparations, and then all the big organisations, you know, they start saying, and the universities, oh yes, we're going to fund some free seats, or here's a little fund, and I can get a little money to do a little project, and we have to be really clear that actually those things could keep us in the same position, and we have to look beyond that. Because what we need to do is really shift that economical balance. Do you know what I mean? So you can't tell us, say, that our blood, sweat and tears built your organised multi-million, you know, pounds organisation, and you're going to give me how many grants for 200 or 2,000 pounds? Do you know what I mean? Because actually, that's not it. No, we wouldn't need to be in that position. We need to start thinking really what you know, reparations mean, and we need to be aware of the steps that happen all the time because we keep repeating the same thing. You know, we talk about it, somebody feels a bit uncomfortable, so they say, yeah, here's a grant, here's a place. Do you know what I mean? What they're giving you is their corporate responsibility anyway. Do you know what I mean? So we really need to look at it on a bigger level and not kind of, I think sometimes people get the misunderstanding about reparations and they think it's all about money.
Yeah, that's the, you know, the mistake a lot of people make. You know, people who even on each side, you know, think it's about, you know, money when it's a reparation. There's many aspects to it. You know, remember, it's about repairing, and repair can be done in many ways. In many ways.
And right now, you know, we've still got a lot of harm going on with our young people and a lot of our adults. Do you know what I mean? We've got to remember that your young people will be your adults of tomorrow. And if they're not healed as young people, and your adults are not even healed, then the example they give your young people, you know, it's that old cycle. We've got to have the space to do that. And I think if we could even just achieve those 2 things, you know, that would make a big difference.
It's a start to something.
Yes,
So, and before we wrap up still, regarding the you know, election, because naturally if you're running for councillor, there's an election ahead. You know, when's the time frame?
Okay, so it would have been May gone, but because of the COVID, it was postponed till this May coming. Now we look like we're going into COVID again, so I don't know if it will be postponed again. Hopefully it won't be, you know, considering what we're seeing in America. They've gone out and had their votes and you know, everything that they could, and also there could be postal votes, so I can't really see a reason why it would be postponed again, but it may be, but if everything went to plan, it would be May. It would be May. So so I'm kind of like now building my campaign and which is, you know, it's quite interesting because you know, I'm standing in an area that I was born in. So, you know, I've seen a lot of changes and I understand that things have to change. But for me it's to the detriment of who? And we really need to be careful about that.
So there you have it, people, and this is the place to tune in because I'll definitely be keeping, you know, in touch with Sister Amirah here and sharing, you know, as things unfold and progress up to, you know, when I say election time, the election time. Yes, because I'm very much keen to see whatever changes can happen, and also about working together because it's a whole systematic thing and it includes everybody. that doesn't take away from, for example, Sister Amirah saying you want to see the community excel, and she's in for supporting our community, and also agreeing everybody supports the community. But at the end of the day, it's about working together.
Yeah, definitely.
So keep your eyes and ears out, watch this space, and I'll be keeping you all updated. And Sister Amirah lead up to the day of voting for councillor. And whichever way, I'm just gonna say in a Jamaican term, whether I win or lose, you're still a winner, Sister Amirah. Yeah, man, no doubt, because you're a community from day one. So keep on keeping on. And I know there are people in support of what you're doing, because words I get out of me, I hear the sound, and everybody, people so far love the vibes.
All right then, wonderful, thank you.
And it's a pleasure, As we say, we always have a reason, and this is a reason. I don't even do interview, this is a reason,
Of course, of course, yeah.
So blessings and guidance, man. So yes, that was Sister Amirah, and just to catch up as always, chit chat and get an overview, the decision on running for councillor, and I'll keep you posted on the movements in regards to that. So I will continue with the music, and as such I'm going to feature my homeboy Blackout, and this video is entitled What About the Church? Really listen to the lyrics on this one. Yeah man, big up.
What about the church? I me not hear them voice. What about the upper class? Things not look so right. What about Rasta? Want them from the start. What about the people? You better walk the walk. What about the heroes? None of make again. What about reggae? It not save the people them. What about the rebels? Hey, they must lose them heart. What about I and I? Is this only dark? Another bomb drop, innocent life gone down. And who create the war, them all a hide and play dumb. The Muslim under pressure from the rising of the sun. Real revolutionary gone underground. Say them have smart pamphleteer and nation down. And who a give the others not go burial ground. Before you kill the innocent, make them blood run. Go boom parliament. Hey, what about the church? Oh, me not hear them voice. What about the upper class? Things not look so right. What about Rasta? Want them from the start. What about the people? You better walk the walk. What about the heroes? None of make again. What about reggae? It not save the people them. What about the rebels? And they must lose them heart. What about I and I? Is this only talk? Yeah, this wind but a blows and kind. Oh, not kill it, get a use and mind. System corrupted from the first line. Truth is the truth, we not dumb, not blind. Not turn about better moving time. Life is a road with bully per sign. Emancipate your soul and mind. Looking at yourself, revolution time. Who is to blame for the innocent blood? Now I don't care, cause we fall out of love. People are dead, leaders don't care. Mothers and fathers live in a fear. Who is the culprit? Who made the plan? Now I see the people unite as one. Fire with fire, now a destruction. Hey, what about the church? Oh, me not hear them voice. What about the upper class? Things don't look so right. What about Rasta? You want them from the start. What about the people? You better walk the walk. What about the heroes? None of make again. What about reggae? It not save the people them. What about the rebel? Must they lose them heart? What about I and I? Is this
So yeah, that was Blackout JA and What About the Church? And earlier on, as you know, I had a little feature chat with Sister Amirah Cole, and I said, what best way than to introduce her son to me, Amari, now Wishmaster, who's a MC and a writer, singer, songwriter, and he's got some really brilliant tracks, and as such, I was privileged to have a few sent to me. And this one is called Right Pages. And I want you to check this one out. Sounds of Wishmaster.
The reason why I record all my thoughts, diary to a king or a queen, that's my unborn. The way of life, it's never been a fashion. They say we passive aggressive, I say we speak with a passion. Now we eating and feasting, but you still be on rations. No TV, just energy changing the channel. Went from road to trapping to throwing in the towel. To the board of directors, now sitting on the panel. Had to adjust my focus and slightly change my angle. I read The Secret, it only confirmed what I can do. We strive for greatness, no instructions or manual. No gas in the words, I just speak it casual. With the flow that I perfected, just built it up gradual. Actual, factual rap, that is all I can do. Your time's up like Lent, burning a candle. Every word I speak I meant, shoot it like ammo. Hit your head like a hollow, your mind gets swallowed. Like the TV and news, all you do is just follow. Cause they feeding you lies, you don't even ask why. You're a consumer, all you do is just buy. Teams new and improve, check the design. Still the same to the death of me. OR till there's nothing left of me. Built a foundation so we only leave a legacy. Right pages on the book to get the best of me. Right pages to unload all the stress, be free. Right pages with a message, find if you're seek. Right pages offer of my life, yes I am indeed. Right pages on the book to get the best of me. Right pages to unload all the stress, be free. Right pages with a message, find if you're seek. Right pages offer of my life, yes I am indeed. More than just do this rap, I really live it. No questions about who did it, I did it. But I kept it concealed, that means that I hid it. I'm the one that sets the wave, them guys just mimic. Stuck up in your own mind, or it doesn't prohibit on your dreams to succeed and push to the limit. Real rap, real chat, no time for the gimmicks. Young boss, study the game as an apprentice. Lot of claims being made under false pretenses. ORs, the team came deep from the trenches. I was trained for war, so always on the defensive. So when I talk, yeah, you might find it offensive. These guys all lies, nothing to contend with. Your words gospel, yeah, I'm so glad that you meant it. Well, I'm the full stop, that's at the end of the sentence. That means it wasn't finished until that I left it. Thank God I got a voice of the talent I'm blessed with. No time for stressing, that hinders progression. Imagine all black youths can channel aggression into dreams, into plans and cash and collect it. Trying to think outside the box, I hope you get it. That's before it's too late and you live to regret it. Life's a canvas, the paint can't erase or edit. Life's a canvas, the paint can't erase or edit. Right pages on the book to get the best of me. Right pages to unload all the stress, be free. Right pages with a message, find if you seek. Right pages offer of my life, yes I am indeed. Right pages on the book to get the best of me. Right pages to unload all the stress, be free. Right pages with a message, find if you seek. Right pages offer of my life, yes I am indeed.
Yeah, that's the sound of Wishmaster and Right Pages. And like I said, check the description, and that can lead you to some other tracks and the know-abouts of Wishmaster. And I gotta say, definitely stay tuned for our interview with Wishmaster coming up. But I feel I gotta involve, Sister Amirah in this interview also, because I know there are some hilarious stories and all that. A mother and son, interview together. But this is Wishmaster's one, but I think I gotta involve mom in this one for some reason, So keep your eyes and your ears out for that, and yeah, I'll see what happens in regards to that. So it's been a pleasure, people, and the vibes is right, the vibes is nice, and we have to make it right, we have to make it nice, for real. We're going through some dire times, some really tough times. Some people can hold on, some people can't, and this is where we need to support each other as human beings, as fellow humans. And like I say, can't change the world, but at least try to contribute in some positive way, and that's my forte, and hope that is yours too. So much love and respect and light. And, like I always say, take the time to be kind to each other, people. Yes, take the time to be kind to each other. As such, I'm going to close out with Nickie's toolkit and then move into the final track, Pole Pole from Mim Suleiman. So take it easy. Catch you on the, other side of the world or other space of the world or wherever it may be next week. That's how it goes. And in the meantime, just enjoy life. Keep it human. Yes.
Namaste and welcome to the Toolkit. I am Nickie, and it is always such a pleasure to share time and space with you in this virtual space where we share thoughts, ideas, practices, routines, tools that are intended to support a wholesome and nourishing life. Tools that have supported my life wholesomely and nourishingly. So, today I wanted to share thoughts with you on dreams and cocoons. I feel I've said this so many times, but there continues to be so much shifting in our space and in our world. And while shifting is part of what normal life is, this time in particular, there's so many persons who are experiencing really adverse effects of these shifts that are happening. And so it is essential, I find, for us to move to a space, to stand firmly in a space of support and nourishment, not just for ourselves, but for all the persons in and around our space that we share time and space with, especially during a time when we are experiencing declarations of physical restriction in terms of our movement. We are creative, we are amazing, we are dynamic, we are divine beings, and we are able to find ways to continue to support and sustain each other, even though the reality that we know would have shifted. And it is in this context that I want to talk about dreams and cocoons. Everybody, I think, has dreams. There are very few people who might not, or I think everybody does. But what are we doing with those dreams at a time like this? At a time like this, we're on so many levels. We are being either encouraged, pushed, coaxed to go inside. How are we going to define this coaxing, pushing, encouraged? Is it going to move us to a space where we're going deeper within self and making sure that we are engaged in practices, routines that are supportive and nourishing for us? Are we going to grow out of this internal process? And so this is why I'm talking about dreams. What are the dreams that you're holding? What are the dreams that we've had that we have not done anything about? What are the dreams that we've had that have turned a little bit into some nightmares? And are we seeing our dreams as part of our development? Are we seeing them as part of the development, or as opposed to a destination? A lot of the time people talk about, the dream is to achieve this or to achieve that. But are we putting it in context? Having achieved it, what next? Are we seeing our dreams as stepping stones in our development? Are we evaluating as we go along? Have we approached it the best way we could? Have we fostered expansion in our lives and in the lives of other people? Is there love? Is there compassion? In this period of lockdown in a lot of places, in this period of isolation and quarantine in a lot of places, what are we doing in this new space, this new physical space, this new energetic space that we have either volunteered to go into, or some people have been forced to go into? What are we using this to do in the meantime? And are we, with our choices, are we chasing dreams or are we nurturing nightmares? You know? Are we putting into context the things that we're looking to realize in life? Are we looking at how we're doing it in thought, word, and deed? And are we putting it in the context of serving our purpose so that our purpose can serve us? So I'd like to invite everybody to take a moment and to explore, what are your dreams? What are my dreams? What am I doing about my dreams? You know, am I existing in a space of limitation or expansion? Have I truly sat down and looked at what I can possibly do with it to make sure that these remain dreams and not nightmares? Are we looking at them as cocoons that have the opportunity to bloom and blossom, either like flowers or butterflies? Are we looking at the opportunity that we have for transformation and alchemy in the middle of everything that is going on? And it's very simple. It can start with just identifying that dream. Start writing a list and start looking at the things that you can do. If there's no money to do it the way you thought you'd be able to get it done, look at how else you can get it done. Start a conversation. Find the honored space. So, I invite you today to not be confined by anything that is in your space. Let's move out and find the liberation and start with self. What are your dreams? What are my dreams? What am I doing here and now to foster and bring them forward? Thank you for joining me. Thank you for sharing time and space with me. And I wish you a day of realizing dreams. Namaste.
sitaki kucheza na sisi. Una mikono michafu ulo kucheza na sisi. Una mikono michafu anasema Paulo, sitaki kucheza